market update. So let's do that. I just kind of want to hear from all of you across the state, Scott and Dylan and Heidi. Fill me in on kind of what's been happening. The last time we had a show was, I believe, the 14th, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. It was a while ago, maybe the 18th. Can't remember, but it was a while ago. It was a couple of weeks ago at least. And so want to get some update on what's new, what's going on in the market that is notable that we want to talk about. So Scott, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, there's actually quite a few things. I mean, obviously we ended the year, we got a new year coming now, but there's some really interesting things going on and some trends that I'm seeing. So closed sales for the year last year ended up, and sales price was up 5.2%. But I'd say that's for the year, but I'd say it's a little misleading because we're trending more on the upper side of that the last couple of months. The big thing to me is we're at 1.4 months of inventory remaining. So what does that mean? That's extremely restricted. We're actually back at the same inventory levels as we were in 2007, which was the height of the last market. At that time, we had 20% price appreciation. I don't see us having that this time because you're looking at very different economic conditions. But I do think this year, if that trend continues, which it should, we should be price-wise in appreciation, we probably should be closer to 10% by the end of this year. And the list to sales price ratio is 100% right now. So sellers are getting what they're asking. It's a very tight market. And I'll give you a good example. I put in an offer in a property in Kaneohe listed at $1,050,000. There were 19 offers. We were in the top two. However, we went $185,000 over asking, escalation clause and appraisal contingency removal, and we did not get it. So, that every single offer I've written, the last 10 that I've written have been competing with multiple offers. And what the good news is the new listings that are coming on the market last month, they're 15% more new listings coming on the market than the same time last year. So there are more sellers coming on, but there's still way more buyers in the market than there are sellers. And the one trend that I'm seeing consistently is like my Kahala listing, for example. I've had 15 people looking from that San Francisco, Silicon Valley area. And normally those people are more going to the outer islands because they want the quiet resorts. They want to get out of, the hustle and bustle. But what they're looking at doing now is moving here to have the city life, work remotely, have the better schools for the children are here. And we're seeing a big migration from people from the mainland looking to move to Oahu where they can work remotely and live. That's probably pretty important to know. What I would tell people with this pricing, what's going on, I had somebody tell me, hey, I don't want to overpay for a property. Well, the reason there's so many people or so much bidding going on is because when those interest rates dropped, it created affordability in the housing. The only way you offset that is either interest rates go back up or prices have to go up. And that's what we're seeing. And the Fed's already said they're not looking at raising interest rates for 3 years. That's a vehicle that they use to stimulate the economy. They want people to borrow at cheaper rates to spend and get the economy going. So I don't see this trend. This trend is going to continue. And because the capital has gotten so affordable because rates are so low, I see us continuing this trend going forward. So I would question that person that says, I don't want to overpay, because if you're classifying as overpaying, you're overpaying in today's snapshot. Maybe you're paying a premium price, but what is that value going to be in 2 years? You actually are probably paying a discount now for what it's going to be in the future if this trend continues.
Oh, that's an amazing summary, Scott. If I had to, that's an amazing detail. If I had to summarize that, it means we think prices are going to go up significantly on Oahu in the short term, and it's really, really hard to buy a house right now. There's a lot of competition for those buys. So, Dylan, that's really remarkable. Again, Dylan, what's going on the Big Island? Unmute your microphone.
On the Big Island, the things are still bananas. We had a couple of slow months there. In the summertime, things slowed down, and then we saw it pick up in September, October, November. We were talking about off the chart 60% increases in the number of properties that were selling versus a year ago. And then in December, just in the Kona market, my primary market, but it's a really big indicator of where we're going, because this is where that second home market, right? And it doesn't make any sense that in December, we had a 100% increase. It was 97% in the number of homes that sold in December this year versus December a year ago. Some of that has to do with the Ironman, which is weird, right? So the Ironman comes every October, and people avoid Kona like the plague in October because there's thousands of people here in Speedos running around, clogging up the roads, and every single hotel room and Airbnb is booked. So normally December for closed sales is a slow month because not that many properties go under contract in October, right? So you have that 45, 60-day lag. But there was no Ironman this year, and people started coming back, and that buy-in frenzy has continued. So across the whole island, there was like 30% increases for land, condos, and homes. So across the board, huge increases towards the end of the year.
Excuse me, Dylan, when you say 30% increase, you mean 30% increase in
number
price?
Of homes? No.
Number of homes.
Price were up like 7%. So
7%.
Price, I mean, still pretty strong, stronger than normal, but it's just the sheer volume of how many properties are selling, which is crazy because it's not like a small increase. I mean, it's like literally, significant 30, 40, 50% increases in the different markets across the island. So things are back, things are humming right along. And like Scott said, I don't think there's going to be any slowdown anytime soon. We're definitely not feeling that. And just a little anecdote, right? People talking about, well, I don't want to overpay. I sold a classmate of mine a house about 2 years ago in a small new build neighborhood that seemed kind of like a stretch. It was kind of high. He paid like $560 for it. And, at the time, even in 2018, people were thinking the market was hot and they were overpaid. And he's thinking about selling it. I just ran comps for him, and we could easily get $700 for that house today. So, I mean, he's going to make $140,000 in equity in 2 years. So, don't get left behind, because that could definitely be the case 2 years from now again.
I'm not a lawyer here, but I think we need to I feel the need to throw out a disclaimer. Your actual results will vary. This is not a promise, right? This is not a promise of any future value. Don't take our word for it. Do your own research. We're just kind of talking and sharing information based on what we think. Anyway, but Dylan, that's again. So I'm hearing there's bananas. You're up 97% over the previous year in December. What I heard you say, prices are coming up. Things are up like all over the place. It is a bananas market going on.
Our biggest problem, and we've talked about this before, and this is if you're in the market in general right now, is just be patient because of these huge increases. We don't have in the real estate industry. I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but there's only one surplus in bodies in the real estate industry. That's realtors. There's way too many realtors, right? But the market is right for escrow companies, lenders, termite companies, home inspectors. And when you have a humongous increase in the number of volume, all of those people are booked. I mean, they're just drowning right now. So I'm having like 0 deals close on time right now because somebody along the way is causing a delay. It's nobody's fault. It's not intentional. It's just everybody's overwhelmed. They don't have enough staff, and everybody's trying to do their best, working weekends late. I mean, I'm getting emails from escrow officers at 10 o'clock at night trying to get deals closed because they are just so overwhelmed with volume right now. So if you're looking to buy, be patient and don't make hard plans that you got to be here and on a certain date, because you got to expect a 1, 2, 3 week delay potentially.
Yeah, that's a great insight. Thank you, Dylan. It's kind of fun. We have a little bit of a side conversation going on the Facebook page over here. Daniel talked about what to be aware of when buying a leasehold apartment, and Edlin is like, don't do it, and never buy leasehold. Now, these are individual conversations between yourselves. Again, it's not our recommendation one way or another, but I just want to recognize there's some conversations going on about there. We might get to leasehold conversation if we get to the part of the show. We've had it before, but it comes up again and again. Heidi, give us the Maui update. What's been going on Maui the past 2 or 3 weeks?
It has been busy here on Maui. It's been a great start to 2021. Just judging by the number of calls I received on New Year's Day, January 1st, it seems like people have this renewed resolve to do something this year. It's a new year, 2021. Now, Maui is the only county that has not completed their December 2020 stats. So I think the entire state's waiting for Maui. But there is just a lot going under contract in our market, and especially the luxury high-end market is moving. Now, in looking what's happened in the recent past, I mean, our number of condo sales is still off compared to previous years. If you're getting beaten out because of multiple offers over on Oahu, come over to Maui. That situation is not quite as common here. While we do have a really strong market, I mean, we're definitely not seeing 14, 15 offers on a home at this point. It's just a little bit slower moving over here, but really strong market. It's going to be a great year.
Thank you, Heidi. I really appreciate that. So the moral of the story is plan ahead. You want to get a hold of Scott or Dylan or Heidi or myself. There's a link on the description. You can click yourself through, get to a form, and we'll get the process started for you right away.